Five, four, three, two, one.
Let's rewind it back. If we can see some nice action, a nice bounce off of here, this could end in a very nice candle. We could even see a candle like this. This would be perfect. So this is our bullish scenario for the week. So this is the first week I think we could have the opportunity to actually get up to like the 77, 78, which is also right where the 21 week, the most important weekly moving average in my opinion, is, okay? Wow, Bitcoin is getting its first major resistance after a very large pump earlier today at the exact perfect level of the 21-week moving average, the biggest gooeyest zone. It's going to take Bitcoin a lot of fight to get above this, but we have to take a look at some specific levels here on the weekly, and even more important, here on this 4-hour chart, we're finding resistance, oh, you guessed it, right on this line right here. And there's one level above that we have to take a look at before reaching the ultimate zone, this blue line right here. We'll get into more detail about why that's so important and what it's been in the past. And as well, after weeks of consolidating within this pattern, Bitcoin did get the break up, but where is this move destined to go? We still see a pretty big lack of volume, but will we see that come in? Is this pump just getting started, or is it a fake out and some sort of push down, or is it in fact still a mega bounce off? And as well, with only 18 days left until Bitcoin's halving, we have some very important things we're going to take a look at in regards to what exactly is going to happen to Bitcoin's price. Guys, less than 3 weeks away. Now this is getting exciting. Blow your nose and tickle my toes. Guys, let's get into it. Wow, welcome back to another awe-inspiring video of Bitcoin today, guys. So much going on. Many of you woke up to a nice mega blast off for Bitcoin's price, but where could this price go, guys? How high could this thing really travel? That's what we're going to delve into in this video. Is this move just getting started? Or in fact, are we at a fake out? And we have to take a look at some key levels that will tell us if this is a fake out or if in fact it is a real blast off. Very cool stuff, guys. So if you guys are new to the channel and you want to make sure to enter for these ledgers, make sure to hit the dings, hit the likes, subscribes, turn on your moms, and let's do this. Wow, guys, let's actually start here with this chart on the weekly. The 21-week moving average, this red moving average is the most key one. If you guys have been following along with these videos, I've been saying this is the most key moving average on the weekly chart by far right now to look at. So this is exactly where we're getting our first rejection. So we had a nice pump. We talked about some specific levels of why we were blasting off, so we'll talk about that a little bit as well. That's on this chart. But on this one, you can see here, this blue 100-week moving average is a subject that we've been talking about for days now. And we got the little bounce right here, and now we went all the way up to the 21-week moving average. As you guys saw in the intro, that's exactly what the blast off target would be. So to the upside, if we would clear some of these muddy zones, there is a lot of potential to keep going higher. But remember, all of the hard levels to break are basically right where we're at right now. So we're still in that muddy, gooey zone where there's so much that would need to be broken within, you know, a $500-$700 range. And then outside of that could be actual moon blast off where we see candles even bigger than this type of candle. But again, we're still within that zone. Anything below like 8,900 is part of that zone. So it's a pretty big zone. It's about $1,000 to $1,500 range there. But again, anything above that, 10, 11, 12, 13, we think that'll be a lot easier to go above. And this is the perfect chart to represent that. So this, I actually want to spend some time talking about this. We cover this about once every week or once every 2 weeks, but this is probably the most important chart. If we're actually going to talk about breaking new all-time highs and absolutely going moonshot, this is the chart we want to look at. Because as we said, right now we're still fluctuating right basically in the very middle of this seeming symmetric triangle, right? That goes back like 3 years. Currently, these are like the hardest levels, and you can even see the volume here. This is the perfect illustration of that. This entire zone from like the 8,500 to the about $6,000 level is the gooeyest zone. This is where we're going to get stuck a lot. And this is honestly where the boring price action is. We're not going to see massive breakouts while we're in this zone. But the massive breakouts come as soon as we get outside of this zone. So I'll draw that back on here for you, basically here. And I think the next time that we get to 10K, I think we're going to be blasting off. The next time we get to 10K, most likely will mean we have to break out of this pattern, which we have not really done in the past 3 years. So we did for a very, very, very short amount of time when we hit 14K back in the summer of 2019. This was literally for like a day or two. It was a very small wick. You can see there. Immediately got rejected here as well. So this line is by far the breakout chart you want to be looking at. And remember, as time goes on, this is declining, right? So let's say it happens in exactly a month from now. The Bitcoin price to break out of this would only be 9,800. Currently, it's about exactly 10,000. Actually, it's about 99. Yeah, it's about 10,000 right now. So a month from now, this would be slightly lower. So if we would revisit 10K a month from now, we would be actually breaking out of this pattern. So again, to get a really good confirmation, we'd want to break like significantly out of this pattern. So at least probably like 10.5 to 11K to get a really good clean confirmation there. But overall, this is where things get really exciting, because once we get out of this gooey muddy zone that we have drawn here, this white box, once we get out of that, and again, we're really coming close to it. The very upper limits are about 8,500, which we're, as I'm filming this, less than $1,000 away from that. Okay, so very important to note, once we get above this, let's say a month from now, 9.8, guys, then we could see things absolutely get extremely wild, and that's when we'll pass all-time highs, in my opinion. So again, right now it's still kind of like the gooey zone, the boring zone in here, but again, we're inching up, and this is a very good start to a continued upside here. So let's actually switch to this chart. You can see we had this little bit of a breakout. What we were talking about for the past 3 or 4 videos was specifically this yellow exponential moving average, and I said if we can break this, that's when we'll get a nice pump. And that's exactly what happened. So remember, we talked about the other 2 times that it was just failing to do it, and this time we talked about in yesterday's video that the more you test this, the weaker it gets, and we were testing it all day yesterday, so it's not really super surprising that we broke it, and we got a very significant pump actually. Okay, going from, let's see here, 71.50 to about 7,800, so $700. It was actually in a very short amount of time and some very quick candles there. So that's really important to note. And you don't really see a lot of resistance on this chart, but that's why I have to switch over to the weekly. You can see this is exactly why we're bouncing. Okay, this is why we're finding resistance right here at the 77.70 basically is where the 21-week moving average is. Now, importantly, I want to switch your attention to this ascending channel right here. You can see, again, we didn't find any resistance on this chart, but you can see it here on this one as well. Basically right in this area where we're basically testing right now. This is important. To break out of this, we would actually need to go about 8,000, which is perfect, right around 8,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. But the bigger thing, if we zoom out here, guys, the bigger thing we want to break is this. This is super crazy right here. This goes back about 6 years, this blue line, and you see right when we broke this, we tested it for a little bit. Right when we broke this right here, this is when things got really ugly. So we go from 7,800, we broke that, and we go to basically 4,000. So about a 50% cut in Bitcoin's price once we broke this line. So to get ultra bullish, this is definitely still the zone we want to get above. Anyone watching videos about a month or 2 ago, you guys would definitely remember this line. We were talking about it a lot. This is really important here. So all of this is really cool and nice, but until we actually get above this level, and remember the 8,500 is right where this line is, and that's exactly what we just showed you on this chart, where all of that, it's like right outside of the box, so right here too. If we zoom out, like the 8,500 breaks us right out of this area, so really breaking 8,500 at this point is mega blast off, but then if we want the actual true breakout to all-time highs, we'll need to break about 9,800. Because again, I don't even think we need to break 10,000 to get a nice breakout. A good confirmation would be breaking 10,000, 10.5, and 11K would be a great confirmation, coming down maybe to find support, and then that's most likely how to play out. But again, things could get crazy even after breaking 8.5. But again, until we break 8.5, then I don't think things will get really explosive. So guys, with less than 3 weeks, only 18 days until the Bitcoin halving, I actually want to point your attention to this article on Cointelegraph here. The last halving in 2016 led to major increases in Bitcoin's price, but not everyone is sure the 2020 halving will inspire similar market adjustments. Okay, the first halving took place in November of 2012, and it wasn't very known back then, but it is very known now. Even though maybe not everybody in the world obviously is invested in Bitcoin, it is extremely well known after the 2017 bull run. And the news of the halving, even though it's unclear to people that probably aren't familiar with Bitcoin, they're probably aware of it. It has the potential to draw in people into crypto and blockchain, which is awesome. So guys, then even those in the crypto community who do not hold Bitcoin find themselves involved in debates about the halving and the effects. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff. A lot of people think that it might already be priced in, but other people think that because of all the interest and everything going on, and because of what happens in every other halving, the other 2 ones we've had, price could extremely pump, right? So the next halving will take place on May 12th, the exact impact of which, immediate or long-term, cannot be accurately predicted, even after considering the examples of the last 2 halvings. So The last two halvings, it absolutely pumped. Does that mean this halving will pump? Not necessarily, but I personally think that that's what's going to happen. Not exactly when the halving happens, but like, a few months after the halving. What is known is that the 2020 halving will impact the Bitcoin community's future in some shape or form. Okay, it's going to make it harder for miners, and it's going to push some miners off, ones that have less resources. Whatever comes, it's going to be big and it's going to be surprising. Very crazy stuff. So guys, make sure to snag a ledger in the comments, and also check out T4, where we combine knowledge with technical analysis and we make the juice. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.